This man's got a new book, Chosen Destiny. Drew McIntyre, My Story. Drew McIntyre, back here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, sir?
I'm absolutely fantastic. How are you keeping?
I'm doing fine. I'm keeping well. Congrats on the book. Congrats on it.
Thank you. It's completely surreal to hear that. WWE, I'm living my dream. I won the title a couple of times this year, and now, on top of it all, I've got a freaking book about my life.
So let me ask you about this freaking book about your life, Drew. If I had told the kid in Scotland that you would write a book one day, what would that kid have said back in the day?
I mean, to be completely honest, I would have said, of course I will, and I will achieve all my crazy dreams of going to WWE from Scotland and winning the title, because I was a pretty cocky kid, a lot of self-belief, but as the book details, I had quite an interesting journey to get to this point, a lot of ups, a lot of downs, and honestly, it wasn't my idea to put the book out. I didn't think to myself, you know what the world needs right now? As a WWE wrestler from Scotland to write a book, and it was brought to my attention. You know, Drew, you're very open about your story and all the interviews you do on the television show Monday Night Raw. Would you be willing to put it down in a book, like especially the times you were down in your life and all the lessons you learned? We really think you could help people out there, inspire them through your story. Obviously telling my wrestling story, but more my life story, my personal story, and the things that I've come through. And I think it was very important during this time we've been going through the past year that if I could help even one person to know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, no matter how dark times get, that's what it's all about.
Drew McIntyre here on the Rich Eisen Show. So let's get into it. The dark times that you're referring to that you got through to get to where you are today. What is that? Not to give away too much that's in your book, but go for it if you don't mind.
Where do I start? I was the first ever Scotsman signed to WWE 21, so I was living the dream in the beginning. I was right on television, one of the fastest people from, getting signed to WWE to being put on their television show. Vince McMahon himself, the head of the company, pointed at me on the show as a 23-year-old and said, "This is the future right here, future world champion." No pressure whatsoever, of course. And things were going as good as they could possibly go. I was literally living my dream, and then things came undone. There was a lot of personal things going on, such as my mother in Scotland getting very sick at the time with cancer. I was a worlds away. I was such a mummy's boy growing up close to my family. I was living in America, so far away from them. She told me through Skype, as I had to see her go through all the chemotherapy treatment, radiation treatment, if you come back home, I'm going to kick your butt. Just keep pushing, keep achieving your dream. It was really affecting me at the time. Started affecting my job. I started going out more, drinking more. And then she unfortunately passed. And it went from burning the candle a little bit at both ends to the candle being completely engulfed in flames. And I kept this to myself. If WWE knew what I was going through, how much I was suffering, they would have got me the help I needed, the mental health help I needed. But I kept it to myself. I suffered kind of in silence. I acted out in a lot of ways. Affected me professionally, personally. I got fired from my dream job. So suddenly I was fired from WWE, 29 years old, no idea what to do. Luckily, I had my current wife, and she's the one that picked me up, put me on the right path, as I detail in the book, helped this crazy, out-of-control boy who could not deal with his emotions finally grow up, finally become a man, become successful professionally, but more importantly, grow up as a man, return to WWE, get to the top of the mountain, become a two-time WWE champion. A couple of weeks, I'm fighting for the title once again. A WrestleMania Backlash, live on Peacock. Things are going well, but we detail it all in the book.
You know what? I've never had such a journey as a host and answer that starts out so introspective and emotionally and ends so promotionally. Drew, I'll be very honest with you. That was incredible.
What I do.
You took me on a run right there that I'm very impressed. I'll just say that. I've never.
The talent taught to me by Vince McMahon.
Before we get to that, what did your wife say to you that kind of got through your skull? What did she say to you?
We kind of had, a serious sit down, and it resulted after a broken neck. I'd been outside the company for a couple of years, and I was succeeding at the highest level outside of WWE. I was the most successful wrestler in the world that wasn't part of WWE. I was traveling all the time. I was never home. She was holding the fort at home. I was never there. I was going out all the time, and finally I broke my neck at a show. I had the first 8 weeks off that I've ever had in my entire life. Like, I went from university to WWE. School used to tell me what to do. Then WWE told me what to do. Then I was the busiest wrestler in the world for the first time ever. I was stationary for 8 weeks. And she bluntly said, "Drew, things are going well right now, but you're going to crash and burn if you keep acting like this. And on top of that, I'm going to leave your ass. You're out of control. This is not healthy for you. It's not healthy for us. I spoke to her about my negative habits. I spoke to my family. I realized, thankfully, it wasn't an addiction. It was just a habit. It was the way I dealt with my emotions. I started opening up more to her. I cut out those negative aspects of my life. I stopped all the partying, and suddenly my head cleared. I recovered from that broken neck. And as well as I was doing, suddenly I was doing even better. My body got in 100 times better condition. My brain cloud that I assumed it was there for the rest of my life lifted. And within 2 months, I was talking to Triple H on the phone, and I returned back to WWE.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.